In Chapter 1, Harry Dresden, the only openly practicing wizard in Chicago, deals with a new mailman who mocks his profession. Despite skepticism from others, Harry works as a paranormal consultant advertising lost item recovery and investigations. Business has been slow. His last job involved a haunted house that turned out to be normal, leaving the client dissatisfied. While reading in his office, Harry receives a call from a nervous woman named Monica, who seeks help finding her missing husband, a case outside his usual scope, but one he agrees to hear in person. Before meeting Monica, Harry gets an urgent call from Lieutenant Karrin Murphy of the Chicago Police Special Investigations. She needs him at the Madison Hotel to investigate 2 mysterious deaths. Torn between the appointments, Harry promises to check the crime scene first and then return for Monica. He leaves his office cautiously, suspecting danger and mistrusting machines, preparing for what might be a perilous day. In Chapter 2, Harry Dresden meets Lieutenant Karrin Murphy outside the Madison Hotel to investigate 2 mysterious deaths. They enter the suite where a couple's hearts have literally exploded during sex, a gruesome and magical murder violating the White Council's laws. Murphy's partner, Carmichael, is skeptical but competent. Harry deduces the killer used thaumaturgy, requiring personal items from the victims, and suspects a woman motivated by intense hate. The female victim, Jennifer Stanton, worked for a vampiress-run escort service, while the male victim, Tommy Tom, was bodyguard to crime boss Johnny Marconi. Murphy plans to follow leads on the hairstylist and consult Bianca and Marconi. Despite tension, Harry agrees to help, but worries about the consequences from the White Council. After leaving the scene, Harry is stopped by Marconi's men and invited to discuss business with Marconi himself, forcing Harry to accept a ride in the mob boss's car, making his day even busier. In Chapter 3, Harry Dresden rides with mob boss Johnny Marconi, who offers to pay him a large sum, double his usual fee, to stay out of the investigation into Tommy Tom's murder. Marconi wants Dresden to do nothing and avoid Detective Murphy. Harry refuses, sensing Marconi's desire to control the situation and keep the police away. During their tense conversation, Harry soul-gazes Marconi and sees a cold, ruthless man shaped by past regrets and hardened by violence. Marconi warns Harry that the case is dangerous and better left to him, implying threats but maintaining a facade of respect. Harry is shaken but tries to mask his fear with sarcasm. After being dropped off at his office, Harry reflects on Marconi's power and menace, recognizing the mob boss as a predator who sees through fear and weakness. Despite the intimidation, Harry resolves to keep his appointment and confront the growing dangers ahead. In Chapter 4, Harry Dresden meets Monica, a nervous woman seeking help finding her missing husband, Victor Sells. Monica explains Victor disappeared 3 days ago after losing his job and developing an interest in real magic, buying tarot cards and books on the subject. She fears the police won't take the case seriously, suspecting Victor didn't simply abandon his family. Monica provides Harry with some of Victor's belongings, including a dried scorpion talisman, a photo, and contact information. Harry notes the talisman's potential dark magical significance, but cannot confirm its purpose without testing it. He agrees to investigate, planning to visit Monica's lake house and review Victor's collected materials. Monica pays a $500 retainer. Harry also begins checking local hospitals and morgues for any unidentified bodies matching Victor. Despite his usual skepticism and annoyance with technology, Harry prepares to delve into the case, aware that magic and danger may be involved. In Chapter 5, Harry Dresden visits McAnally's pub to unwind after a stressful day and reflect on the mysterious deaths of Tommy Tom and Jennifer Stanton. At the pub, he discusses the recent chaos caused by 3-eye junkies with the owner, Mac. Susan Rodriguez, a reporter from the Chicago Arcane, arrives unexpectedly, pressing Harry for details about the sensational killings tied to paranormal causes. Harry refuses to reveal information due to a non-disclosure agreement. Despite his reluctance, Susan invites him on a date, promising a fancy dinner, which Harry awkwardly accepts. He worries the date will complicate his investigations. Meanwhile, Harry plans a nighttime visit to the Sells Lake house to gather information, knowing he also has a scheduled talk with Bianca, a vampiress, the next day. The chapter highlights Harry's struggle to balance his dangerous work with personal distractions and the pressures of the unfolding case. In Chapter 6, Harry Dresden visits Victor Sells' lake house in the affluent Lake Providence community to investigate. The modern house appears unused recently, with locked doors and empty trash cans oddly returned to the property, suggesting someone has been there. Harry sets a magical trap using a silver knife, bread,